Playa, mujeres fumando. Mira, tírame Blani, son nalgas de mentira. Tan brinda, que chimba, colombiana linda. Siempre con los ojos rojos de Cali, con mi amiguita Mari.
My head's in the clouds, can you bring me back down, boy? I need it. My head's in the clouds, can you bring me back down, boy? I need it. Need it. Need it. Need
It is a wonderful, wonderful Monday night here with Andre and Andres, Love Crossing Borders. We're going to be giving you guys an update on how things have been going for us as well as others when it comes to after the aftermath. I mean, how can I word it? The aftermath of the earthquake. We're going to give you an update on our place. As you can see that I'm back in the studio. There's still a lot of things that need to be worked on. We got here about 4 hours ago, and you just don't realize how much dust and filth and how much work still needs to be done here. We're still working on some of the utilities, getting the utilities back on. And we're still raising funds, not only for ourselves, but for all those others out there in the Black community, such as Choco and Buenaventura. So we're going to be talking about that tonight here on Love Crossing Borders, but we're also going to be talking about racism, a topic that we really tackle here on this channel when it comes to racism and traveling. Is it more racist to travel, just get in your car and go in the United States compared to just getting in a car and go when you're traveling to other countries? When you are in other countries, is it more problematic when it comes to race compared to when you're back home in the United States? We're going to talk about that topic tonight because a lot of individuals in the Black community fear travel due to the fact that they think that the same amount of racism will occur outside of the United States, so they fear leaving the United States. So to all those plantation bros and plantation sisters, this episode is for you, to let you know that there is a difference when it comes to the racism in the United States compared to outside of the United States. And those that look to donate tonight by way of Cash App, has been a little iffy, man. I've been on the phone with Cash App for about a good hour plus every day for the last 3 days. The donations that you guys have been sending has been they like $30 are getting in per day or $50 are getting in per day. Every time we think the Cash App is back on track, then it throws itself off. So those of you that are sending larger amounts, such as $100, such as $1,000, you may have to make that a lot smaller, like $50 per transaction if you want to break that up, or you could just send it to Zelle if you don't mind, by way of aspence2011@gmail.com, and we'll make sure it'll definitely get it over to us, and I'll give you a shout out on the show. But a lot of you guys, there have been thousands of dollars that we have not received the funds at all because you guys have sent it by way of Cash App, and because it happened so rapidly and so fast, we never got any of the money. So Cash App never took the money out of you guys' accounts. But for a couple of guys, it has. I thought it was good for tonight. You know, we did some testing on it, and going to find out you still can't send over $100 per transaction with Cash App. So if you guys would like to Zelle us this evening, it would be great as well. And tomorrow I'm going to have some videos in regards to the donations that we have given to Choco so far. And Buenaventura, we'll do that tomorrow episode, because we're going to be talking about the Black Manosphere Conclave tomorrow as well. But as for today's episode, yes, sir, we got to get back on track. Let's get these shout outs going. We got 21 in the building. I know it's kind of late, but I needed to do a live show with you guys. It's not just about you guys, the prayers. It's not just about the proceeds, but it's also about I need the fellowship, gentlemen. If you don't mind tonight just hanging out with your boy, I need the fellowship. So shout out to all you guys that are here. And shout out to Timothy Bright of Avengers Assembly. He said, thanks. I saw the Cash App notification. I saw the app notification. Yeah, man. I don't know what's going on with Cash App, but it's just saying, like I said, there are thousands of dollars we never received. Never got it, man. Messing with Cash App. Shout out to all you brothers that are in here. Let's get the shout out started, such as my brother David Dice, numero uno of the Dice family. He said, we are thankful for this live stream. He said, but Andre, how are you doing? And the family, hope you and Mrs. Spence are doing okay. We are, man, I kid you not. Psychologically, we're getting there each day. Excuse me, is getting better and better. And I need to clean this. I just realized that I cleaned everything in the studio because the crazy part, let me turn the music down just a tad bit. Because after an earthquake, you don't realize how much dust and dirt kicks up from outside and all from pouring down over the, over your ceiling, and you just don't realize how much dirt gets into your home. And so we were basically, dude, you could have pulled a shovel up in here with so much dirt. And but we're still trying to get there, man. It's one day at a time. You guys who are always calling me or always texting me or always hitting me up on Facebook and Instagram, man, I appreciate that, man. I really, really do. We appreciate the prayers. We appreciate the shout out. Some of you guys hit me up almost every single day just to check in on your boy and check on Andrea. So we are making it one day, one moment at a time. And we're trying it because I'll tell you what the hard part is. I'll tell you what the hard part of this is, and we're not gonna linger on this part too much. The hardest part that we're going through is survivor's remorse, as well as the loss that we've had. So the things that we've lost and the damages that we have in our home, we got to deal with that. But then you go through the survivor's remorse, because there are people out there that we're donating to it's been raining over the last 2 days in Cali, and they're sleeping in tents in the Black community, in the middle, in the working community, because you can't go back into your building until the inspectors come. Well, in my neighborhood, they automatically come because one of the suburban neighborhoods, right? But the average neighborhood, it could take up to 2 weeks for an inspector to come to let the people back in the apartment building. That's if they get back in. So you got soccer fields full of tents, high school, outside in the yard area of a high school, full of tents, full of mattresses. And so people are donating and helping each other. And so that's the cool part. And then all the stories you continue to hear that it's up to 300 people that have over 300 people that have lost their lives. There's still 300 people missing. To think about what just happened in Indonesia, they got right out the gate, 35 people were dead like immediately. And so you do have a little survivor's of remorse, whether you want to admit that or not. Like you feel like you're the one that survived the plane crash type of mindset. So you got to get over that part. So it's not just trying to get your mind back for yourself, but it's also trying to get your mind back in regards to all the bad news that you continue to hear. But like I said, slowly but surely, because we're helping others and you guys are helping us, like I said, if only with the prayers, it helps us out quite a bit. It helps us out a lot. I won't lie, but we're doing a lot better. It just feels good to be back home. This is our first night sleeping in our bed. We were in bed sleeping when all this occurred last Monday. So yeah, but salute to the chat. Salute to all you guys. We're going to have a great time on this live stream. We're not going to be melancholy tonight. We're going to have a good time, have some fun with this particular topic because this topic is important. I would love for more Black people to travel. And one of the things that keep Black people from traveling, we really believe that the level of racism that we experience in the United States is the same level of racism that we'll experience as we travel. We actually think that there's somebody waiting for us with a noose. Somebody's waiting to eradicate us because of our color. And that's far from the truth when it comes to traveling. But most Black people don't realize that, especially in the States. Shout out to my brother Rico in the building. Glad to see that you're here, Rick. Glad to see that you're here. Forgot to put my watch on, actually. I'm Victor. Glad to see that you're here. And shout out to my brother Will. Me and Will got a chance to chop it up earlier today. Shout out to the Ohio players. Yes, sir. Salute to you, Will. And thank you very much with the super chat. Appreciate you and Timothy Bright. Yes, sir. He says, salute Dre, Andre, and Andre chat family. What's good, all? You know, I know this is a late one, but I needed it. I won't lie. I know this is a late live stream, but I needed it, man. I need to be back around my brethren, my family. Yeah, we're back in the studio, Reek. We still got some damages that, like right here on the other side of this wall is just, yeah, like that. But it's not really as bad as it looks. So that's a good part. That's a good part. Shout out to my brother First Class in the building. First Class says this. He said, why is the president of Colombia rejecting help from other countries? Any information on what the president is doing? Okay, we'll talk about that. That's a good question. As far as I know, the president has been accepting help from other countries, such as the firemen and the emergency specialists from Mexico, from several from the United States. EMT groups and fire departments have been down here in Colombia for weeks. I've been watching their videos on TikTok, so I know that they're here in Cali. When it comes to help from Peru's down here with their department, because realize Colombia is dealing with three different things right now. The aftermath of the earthquake, right? We're dealing with a forest fire right now because of the earthquake. And there are I think it's 1 or 2 volcanoes that are about to erupt because of the earthquake. So the smoke has already gone up in the air like Pompeii. And so now the true eruptions they're waiting for in the next couple of days. So we're dealing with 3 things at the same time. So a lot of money coming in from different countries. America has given over 15 million. Another, the world banking system has given over $1 million donated to Colombia. Several countries have donated millions upon millions to Colombia. So he's accepting the money. The one thing that I can say that he's doing that no other president has done, he's really showing an emphasis in helping the areas of Buenaventura and Chocó. He is helping him and his wife. Like usually it's just the president that travels, but he and his young wife both are traveling to the Black communities. They've been there several times. They brought medication. They brought food. They even brought balloons and toys and clowns for the kids to just enjoy and get to help the kids get their minds off of this. So he's going not only to the major cities in Choco, like Quito, but he's also going to some of the smaller towns. This is unprecedented. No president in the history of Colombia has ever gone to the Black regions in these small towns and several times over. This is a first time exclusive type of thing. He's only been president for less than 10 days. And so he's really stepping things up in regards to showcasing, showing his face. So I wouldn't know of anything that's being rejected now by any country, because like I said, America has been over here helping out quite a bit. And I follow several American firemen and rescue workers on TikTok that showcase everything that's going on here in Cali that they're doing. So shout out to them. Shout out to the United States. Uriah is in the building as he is here in Cali with us. Yes, sir, with the $10 love. Appreciate you, Uriah. Uriah says this. He said, salute, Dre. He said, salute. Salute to you, brother. He said, salute to everyone in the chat. He said, good to see that you are back home. Yeah, we're getting there, man. It's one thing to be back in the building. It's another thing to mentally be back home. I don't think we're mentally there yet. We're physically here. It's gonna take some time, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I wish I could lie and pretend that this did not impact us the way that it did. I wish I could, but it did. So me and Andre are literally taking it one day at a time on the mental side, as well as, getting back on in stride. And I wish, I kid you not, I wish we could water it down and make it seem like it wasn't as bad as it seemed. Because some people are saying, you guys are just milking it. You're making it seem like it's worse than what it was. Unless you were here in Cali, unless you had your building, you don't know if it's about to collapse or not on you. Unless you had, rubble and stairs collapsing around you, unless you had somebody that you cared about, that you're running down the stairs. It's one thing to leave and run down the stairs by yourself. You just try to save your own life. It's another thing you're running down the stairs and you're trying to not only save the life of the person that you're with, but then I'm trying to help old people get out. And then at the same time, you're seeing like the baby that Andre was holding. I'm looking at this baby got all type of soot all over his face and all in his hair, and I'm brushing the baby's hair. Unless you've experienced that, I would highly recommend people just be quiet about it. Just don't give your 2 cents about it. You don't understand the mental part of this. That's why I'm going to say something. I'm going to turn the music down for a second. Let me go here. Just pause it for a second. This has really given me respect for all you ex-military guys and ladies. I went through it one day, 1 week, 1 day at a time, me and my wife. I couldn't imagine what you guys went through being deployed 2-3 times. It's one thing to talk about PTSD or disabilities of military. It's another thing to be going through it yourself. And you're trying each day to make it. You're trying to keep a smile on your face. And you're trying to be strong for your loved ones. I have so much respect for you military dudes. And ladies, you just do not understand. You truck drivers, the mental stress that it takes to be a truck driver in a world of irresponsible drivers. I've got so much respect for you all. I have so much respect for you all. And any of you guys that have a extremely stressful career or job that, and I'm not talking about you're working in the office like I am with a suit on like I used to be. I'm talking about real stressful jobs. I have such a understanding and respect for you on the mental side, that if nobody understands you, at least in this window of time, I understand you. I understand what it's like to smile when you want to cry. Take it from me. So me and Andrea have spent a lot of time crying and a lot of time smiling over the last week. And so if anybody doesn't understand that, you know, I know that's why I said we still are.
I appreciate that we are in our apartment, but it's still you have that thing in your soul. There's
Mhm.
still a lot of people right now in the parks with this weather, which is God bless this weather, but obviously there's just a lot of going on inside of you. It's not completely full joy, but we appreciate that we have the apartment is fine and everything, because it's so sad to now that I've drove here. It's so sad to see buildings just like with the lights turned off because nobody's over there. The only
Yeah.
ones in the north, you remember the ones that we about the ones that they are next to Migración Colombia.
Mhm.
All that building is
That's
off.
a brand new building.
It's a brand new building, so it's sad to see it looks like a ghost town.
Yeah. This that's a good point. Andrea just saying that, you know, you go through the emotional part also of appreciation, because many of it's kind of odd to look across and see your neighbor's building completely dark, where you used to see all type of life in the building, and now you look right across and that building is dark. That building is dark. That building is dark. So you go through a stage of, you know, appreciation too. And Andre was telling me by the immigration office here, we literally saw this building built from scratch. The building is only 2 years old and it's done. It's done. 2 years old building. Even though the infrastructure is strong as far as it didn't collapse or anything, but the damage, the toll that it took, it's going to take them months upon months, if not a year, to even get those apartments back on track. So a lot of times when people hear, once again, that a building is earthquake proof, that doesn't necessarily mean your apartment or the stairs in the building is earthquake proof. It just means the whole building is not going to collapse immediately on you. But that doesn't mean that the stairs won't collapse, that your ceiling won't collapse, you know, the pipes won't burst, the gas line won't burst. That doesn't mean any of that. So we had to check, you know, they had to check the pillars of our building. We're one of the few people that have a building that's, you know, that's decent. I know I froze for a second, gentlemen. Have a building that's decent. So yeah. Let me scroll down, go back to the super chat real quick. Shout out to all you guys. Will says this, and shout out to I am men supporting men in the building. He says this. Will says this. He say that was no fun last Monday. Yeah, I know I thought you were gone, but like you said today, you were here in Medellin when it was happening. You know, even though we're in Cali, you were there in Medellin. He say that was no fun Monday. Waking up, experiencing the earthquake, and trying to help elderly people down 12 flights of stairs while the building was shaking violently. A lot of my residents thank me. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And the man supporting me and says, "Hey Dre, how's everything going for you? Are you and the wifey good?" We're getting there. we're getting there. One moment at a time. I'm not going to lie and say one day at a time. It's literally one moment at a time. Like when Andrea was just standing here talking to me, she was in tears. And those tears are just tears of appreciation. You know, like I said, right now you go through appreciation and you go through survivor's remorse or guilt. So you got to deal with that psychological part that you never asked for. Shout out to my Canadian brother in the building.
I told this guy where I was from. He said, "Oh, Canada."
Black Nubians. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to you guys. And let me get back to the top. Let me show some love to all you guys. Wow, 44 in them. I didn't know you guys were going to be up this late with your boy. Shout out to you gentlemen being here. Shout out to the fit traveler. Yes, sir. Always here. Showing some love. Salute to you as well. Salute to you as well. Yeah. If I had a cold one, man, that's true. We had a couple beers for a few days. You know, we got out. You know, we were in a grandmother's apartment, as you guys saw. And we got out when we went to like the liquor store across the street. You know how in Colombia they always had tables sitting out front. So we kind of like sat out front and had a couple of beers just to get out and clear our minds. So we've been trying, man. We've been trying. Shout out to Corporate being in the building. Glad to see that you're here. Glad Corporate ST in the building. Yes, sir. And our brother Ahmad Milner in the building. Glad to see you're here. Salute. Let me turn the music back on, gentlemen. Glad to see that you're here. There we go. Let's put keep that energy. He said, "Come on, Dre, let's ride it out." That's exactly what we're gonna do. That's exactly what we're gonna do. Now, this just because we're going through this moment of time does not mean that Andre and I are giving up or we're depressed or anything. It's not. We're not going through that, and I'm glad we're not going through that. It's just an adjustment, man. It's just an adjustment. It's crazy too, man. He said, "Wait, man, you're back in your own residence?" He said, "I just noticed." Shout out to Timothy Bright. Yes, sir, man. We just got back just a few hours ago, and we just spent like 4 hours just trying to clean up as much as we could. Yeah, man. And Jay Anderson, the Great, is in the building. Salute to you as well, brother. Salute to you as well. He say, salute to the grown man chat. He say, Andre and Andre love crossing borders. He say, appreciate you always, Uncle. Yes, I appreciate you gentlemen as well. Like I said, I need this particular live stream just to feel encouraged to be hanging out with you guys. So that's why I'm doing a late night Monday, just to be around you guys for a few hours. You know, shout out to my brother Sean in the building. This Could Get Ugly podcast. Make sure that you guys subscribe. Make sure you drop the link to your channel, Sean, so we can support you as well. We got 51 in the building. Shout out to all you gentlemen. He said, glad to see that you're back in the studio, big bro. Yeah, yes, sir. Ooh, cheers. Yes, sir. Hey, shout out to LJ, the Southern Vegan. He said, glad to see that you, Dre. Blessings to you, Mr. and Mrs. Spence. Yes, sir, man. Shout out to you with the Colombian flag. And shout out to my brother Elham. He said he's trying to get the tariffs wave because of the earthquake. Okay, cool. Okay, that's good, man. That's really good. I can say this about this president, man. This guy has been nonstop on the go, man. On the go. Yes, sir. Black Lex in the building. He said cultural conditioning in the States has taught us to be fearful of what is outside of the States or on the outside of these borders. But when you leave, you actually learn where racism really is. And that's true. There is a form of racism no matter where you go around the world. But I'm telling you, America still got a lock on inequality and disparity. And we're going to start off with showing you where United States ranks. I'm going to say this again. It's going to blow you away. Out of 180 countries, when it comes to racial equality, meaning representation, meaning racial justice, out of 180 countries, where do you guys think America ranks? Give me your number. Give me your number. I'll give you a hint. America ain't even the top 100 country. I'll give you a little hint. America, when it comes to racial equality and racial fairness, America does not even rank in the top 100 countries on the planet. That's just a hint. So let me know give me you guys guess. So it's between 100 and 180. That's where America ranks. The top 100 countries, America ain't even near there. Nowhere near that number. America is not 101, 102. Let me know what your numbers are. Shout out to JB and the J Edwards Building. Hope you're having a wonderful day. He said, DJ said the therapists are going to have a line around the block right now in Colombia. A lot of people taking therapy already, dude. Yes, sir. Salute to all the brothers here. Salute to you, Uriah, man. Appreciate you being here in Cali. Andrew Craig Jr. says this. He said, all seriousness, happy you and Andrea are safe. This is true. He said it was scary to watch the quakes from the States. He said I could have been in that quake in Cali if I stayed longer. He said wishing the best for everyone in Colombia. Absolutely correct. I don't want to take the coffee region for granted. I don't want to take Medellin for granted or Bogota. Like I said, Cartagena really, we haven't heard anything about it impacting Cartagena or Barranquilla or in that Atlantic coast, Santa Marta. So that's why you don't hear much about them, because from what we're seeing, it really didn't impact them literally at all. But yeah. Yep, shout out to T-Mac being in the building, representing once again. Salute to all. And T-Mac and his guys are over there in Medellin doing some amazing things. He said, no. He said, I've been seeing a lot of messed up buildings during the Uber rides here. Oh, yeah, yeah, Medellin. That's why I said, don't forget Medellin. Don't take it for granted. He said, it looks like no damage. He said, and then you run into a building that is falling. Absolutely correct. He said, people living in tents out here. So it's not just in Cali. I didn't know they were living in tents in Medellin too, because like I said, you have to live. You once the inspectors are about to inspect your building, you can't go back in, no matter how many days. So if you don't have nowhere else to go to, you basically kind of stuck, and you stuck in a tent. Shout out to a man supporting me once again in the building. Salute to you as well, brother. Salute to you as well. We got 56 in the building. I'm going to just end with the shout outs right now, because I'll be spending the whole day doing shout outs. But let me see what you guys' numbers are. I'm going to scroll down and see what numbers you guys have. And shout out to Aaron being in the building. He said, I'm glad to see that you are back. I'm glad to see that we're back here as well. He said, America is the worst. Okay, here we go. We got some good numbers. We got 146. T-Mac says 146. We got International Quiet Storm in the building. He says this 153 of 180. David says at the bottom 180. Aaron says 164. Let's scroll down. Let's see. Glad to see that. Yes, sir. Glad to be back, man. Glad to be back. Yep, we're back at the house. We got a lot of work at the house to do, but we're back at the house. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's still a lot to do. We still we still have the gas line specialist coming through. So the gas is not on in the building. The water is not on in the building. We have it periodically because one of the apartments flooded. So a pipeline, not a gas line, but a water main was impacted during the during the earthquake. And so now when any of us turn our water on, it starts to flood that apartment and it's going down into the basement. So now, we are limited in our water here. And so we're deciding on whether we're going to be here or whether we're going to go back to our grandmother's house. We just feel like we just want to come home, man. We just want to come back home and just sleep in our own bed the first night. I know it's not going to be easy, but we're trying to do it the first night. So we're going to see how it goes. He said Medellin is moving fast. That's good. He said in less than 2 days after the quake, he said, I saw them replacing building infrastructure. That's Medellin. I will not deny that. Yes, sir. Shout out to Uno being in the building. He said, "What up, Dre? Glad to see that you and the family are good." He said, "When I heard about the powerful earthquake that it was," he said, "and seeing some of the damage," he said, "glad you okay." He said, "Know what it is?" I said, "I know what it's like to be in a hurricane, but an earthquake, man, oh man." Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. I can handle some hurricanes. He say, "Give more likes for Class 7, more homeworks." Yes, sir, guys. Click that like button if you don't mind. We got 57 in the building, including my brother. He said, Bean says 150, 52. Global Homie says 200. It's only 180 to 200 developed countries in the world. So we're talking about where America is 99. So we're talking about where America ranks as far as racial equality. Let's get started with the video, and you guys are going to see right out the gate how close you guys were with your numbers. This episode is dedicated to more people of color feeling comfortable with traveling. Don't think what you're experiencing in the states will be the level of racism that you experience out of the states. It's not like that. Is there racism? Is there a biasness? Yes. Is there a different form of biasness that we get as African Americans compared to Africans? Yes. Yes, I think we get treated better than even some of the local blacks in many countries. But Black Americans have a bad habit of thinking that when they get to certain countries, they're going to be treated worse than they get treated on the plantation known as the United States of America. And that's not true. Let's get started with the video.
Not every country is friendly to Black and brown people. If you live in the United States, you know that. You feel that. And the data supports that as well. The Othering and Belonging Institute at Berkeley University ranks the United States as 138th in
138. Some of y'all got close to it. United States ranks 138. Let's bring that beat back.
Not every country is friendly to Black and brown people. If you live in the United States, you know that. You feel that. And the data supports that as well. The Othering and Belonging Institute at Berkeley University ranks the United States as 138th in terms of racial inclusiveness. That's everything from the laws that we have to the actual public sentiment towards people of other races. So it's no wonder that people of color are looking for a way out of the United States and trying to figure out how they can escape, especially in their retirement years. You've put in all this work and you're like, I don't want to retire in a country that hates me. Totally understandable.
What's up, everyone? Leroy Adams, founder and publisher of the Buddy Pass Travel magazine here. So I'm working on my next article for our premiere issue, one of the few articles that I get to write. And it really centers around the reasons why Black people in the U.S. are leaving to move abroad. A lot of Black folk are leaving the U.S. to move to places like Portugal. There are a lot of Black Americans in Portugal. Places like Bali, Thailand, Japan, Korea, China, various South American countries, Mexico.
Now, this brother right here that's speaking, he is not only a content creator such as visual, such as YouTube or TikTok. He also writes a monthly newsletter. And he's been doing it for years. He writes books on Black travel. He's been invited to speak in some of the most major prestigious speaking events for travelers representing the Black perspective. So this brother here that's speaking is really, really one of the top dogs when it comes to representing and doing research on the Black experience of traveling internationally. And so this is what he's talking about as well. So I just want to give you a foundation of who this gentleman is.
European countries all over. And everyone will point to, well, racism, that's why we're leaving the US. And I've come to learn that's not the only reason why. You know, I've interviewed a lot of Black travelers and expats, and I've been very surprised to learn that racism isn't the only reason or the reason why we're leaving. For example, when I decided to first move abroad, it was really due to American capitalism. I wasn't down for the rat race. You know, I wasn't ready to devote my life to pursuing.
I actually have an episode coming out this week on that. A man supporting men. I actually have an episode because I'm not naive to the fact that most men aren't leaving the United States. I'm not naive to that. And so, not being naive to that, what about you guys? What about you guys that travel, but you're not leaving the States? You know, you see what I'm saying? You still travel, but you still love living in the States. You got your business there. You got your kids. Mom is still there. Dad is still there. What about all the men that travel but aren't leaving the States? What about the type of women should they be looking for? We're going to talk about this week, as well as I need to get with Theo to schedule the day for when we talk about the Black Manosphere Conclave, because I want to do at least 3 episodes this week talking about the conclave, because yes, it still will be next month in September. It will be on the 11th through the 14th. And I'm telling you guys, you will have a wonderful time in Las Vegas. So I will be doing an episode on this one this week. That's a great, great question. And I've been kind of like putting together a game plan for this one.
You know, wealth and material things. That wasn't for me at the time, and it still isn't. But I knew that very clearly in my 20s that I did not want to participate in the American rat race, capitalistic society. That just wasn't for me.
Movement had a price. Imagine packing your bags for a road trip only to be stopped and told you must pay a fee, just because of your skin color. During segregation, Black Americans faced a web of hidden travel costs designed to control their movement. Local governments and private businesses imposed extra tolls, travel permits, and even state fines on Black travelers, making every journey a challenge. In some southern towns, Black drivers were forced to buy special travel permits before crossing city lines. Roadside stops weren't just about safety, they were a tool for discrimination. Police could fine Black motorists for trivial reasons, and those unable to pay faced jail or worse. Even bus and train companies sometimes charged higher ticket prices for Black passengers. These fees weren't about revenue, they were about restriction. They sent a clear message. Freedom of movement was not a right for all. Black families had to plan routes carefully, carry extra weapons, and rely on networks like the Green Book just to avoid danger and financial traps. Freedom of movement was controlled. Follow.
The Negro Motorist Green Book helped keep African Americans safe when traveling during the Jim Crow era.
This book told you about hotels, restaurants, barbershops, and so many other things that you needed as an African American when traveling from state to state.
Victor Hugo Green, a postal worker, used a grassroots method to get his travel guide into circulation. Tapping his fellow mailmen to help reach a broader public, he also distributed via mail order, Black businesses, and media campaigns with the help of Esso Gas Station, known as ExxonMobil today. His partnership with Esso allowed him to distribute the Green Book at various gas stations, making it front and center for a key audience. Talk about genius marketing. Costing 25 cents, the first edition of this 15-page travel guide focused on New York City businesses that welcomed African-American customers.
An ultra-modern pleasure highway, another great new advance in travel in the nationwide program.
State by state, this guide helped travelers maneuver with dignity and less fear.
Black people wanted to travel just like other Americans. They wanted to see the country. They wanted to educate their children. They wanted to see
I like that, Theo. I like that.
the national parks. They wanted to see the sights.
It's Black History Month, and instead of focusing on milestones or individuals, in this series, I want to talk about something that shaped everyday survival and still shapes our lives right now. I want to talk about how the simple act of travel has always been political for Black people in the United States. When we look at what's happening right now with ICE, it feels easy to think that we're witnessing something new, but we aren't. The idea that the state has the authority to stop, question, and demand proof that you're allowed to be where you are didn't just come out of nowhere. It has a long history. People are beginning to realize that citizenship in the U.S. is more conditional than they've been led to believe. We're watching U.S. citizens being stopped and asked to prove who they are in ways that go well beyond a casual ID check. And with immigration enforcement expanding its reach and the Supreme Court's recent rulings, a driver's license suddenly isn't enough, and your passport has become the only documentation that feels like it carries any kind of weight. The burden of proof lands on the individual, profiled for the color of their skin or even their accent. For a lot of people, this feels new, but for Black Americans, this dynamic is very familiar. In the early 1800s, if you were a free Black person in the U.S., your freedom didn't just automatically travel with you. It had to be carried and proven on demand. These documents were called freedom papers. They were legal records stating that you were not enslaved and were recognized as a free person. In theory, that sounds pretty straightforward. In practice, it meant that your body was always one question away from captivity. And if you were stopped while traveling and you didn't have your papers, you could be arrested as a runaway slave. A free person could be pulled into bondage because proof of their freedom wasn't immediately accessible. In some cases, if no white person could vouch for you and no documentation could be produced fast enough, you could be sold back into slavery. These papers weren't even permanent protection. They had to be issued by courts and local authorities, and there were fees involved. Plus, there were clerks and officials who could question their validity. And if someone decided your papers looked suspicious or incomplete, the burden fell on you to prove it. There was an entire economy built around this process. You paid to prove, again and again, that you weren't someone else's property. So even as a free person, your ability to move through the streets depended on your ability to produce state-recognized proof of your status on command. At the same time, white Americans have always moved freely. They didn't need to carry any documentation. Their presence wasn't automatically suspicious, and their right to move was inherent. One group traveled as a matter of fact. Another traveled with papers in their pocket and the knowledge that those papers might not even be enough. What made those systems real was enforcement. Slave patrols were created to stop Black people in motion, question them, and decide whether or not they had the right to be where they were. After slavery, that authority didn't disappear. Black codes, vagrancy laws, and labor contracts hardened into formal law enforcement, carrying forward the power to interrupt Black movement, demand proof, and use detention as control.
Before she even goes any further, talking about Jim Crow, the reason why I put this portion in here, guys, I'm laying a foundation of letting you see the history of problematic Black travel. Because I'm seeing so many Black people back in the States saying, I ain't going over there. Watching it's already racist. It's racist enough over here. I'm laying a foundation to let you guys even do comparative shopping once we start comparing America to other countries. Because I'm gonna tell you something now. Even back then into today, you still can get stopped driving while Black on your way from Atlanta to Florida, on your way to from Florida to Ohio, on your way from Ohio to PA. You can still get stopped driving while Black. You can still be attacked while driving while Black. So even though we're talking about all the way back in the Green Book era, even though we may not need that Green Book, we still need a Green Book. Just like, but I like what Theo said. We have gone from the Green Book to the Blue Book. And it's sad that a lot of Black people don't want to admit that, acknowledge that, and enjoy that. They rather, I don't know what it is. But at the end of the day, it's not what people say it is when you're leaving the United States for Black people. Yes, there is a form of racism or biasness, but it is nothing like what we experience when we are back home in the United States.
Pro-policing continued that pattern. Officers enforced racial boundaries, controlled where Black people could exist, and treated their presence itself as suspicious. The badge became another way the state decided who belonged and who could be stopped on sight. When you look at modern policing through this lens, the pattern comes into focus. Stop and frisk policies and database verification all operate under the same basic authority. The state can interrupt your movement, question your right to be present, and hold you in place while your status is examined. But for Black Americans historically and today, that authority has never just meant being paused or delayed. It's always carried lethal force and used without accountability. Policing in the U.S. grew out of systems built to control Black movement. And the same logic shows up today in the violence we're seeing on the streets right now. The Black community has lived with this truth for generations.
Do you imagine that? I think that kind of goes over our head as people of color. I think that goes over our head quite a bit. Can you imagine that there was no real policing in the United States until it was time to police Black people? Yeah, you had a sheriff in this town here, and you had a federal officer there, but true policing until it was time to try to control us. When it was time to control Black people, all of a sudden, police officers came and were hired in masses across the country. To police crime? No, to police us. Shout out to my brother Delwin, who's gifting membership. Appreciate you, brother. Hope you're having a great day, Mr. Justin. Our brother First Class says this. He say, 2 weeks ago, he said, I asked my 60-year-old mother to give me 3 things that she loved about the United. I can't wait to hear this. 3 things that she liked about the United States. She literally couldn't give me more than 2 things. She's been living on the planet. Shout out to grandma for more than 60 years. You know my 2. I'm with grandma for real. I can give you 2. Money and military. I respect and appreciate our military might. And I appreciate the fact that in America, you can go, if you put your mind to it, you can take Theo's classes. And if you stay focused and you go after those interviews, you can have an opportunity to go from 0 to 6 figures. America is built like that. You could come up with the idea while you're sleeping in your car, and all of a sudden you're Paul Mitchell and you're selling beauty supplies around the world, and now you own, Patron, tequila, and all that stuff, right? Only in America can you go from selling books in your garage on this new thing called the internet to being Jeff Bezos, multi-billionaire. Only in America. Other than that, I mean, your family, of course. So certain things are obvious. Your families and your friends, of course, that's obvious. But anything else I can easily say I can find outside the United States. I can find better outside the United States. I kid you not. I give it to the United States when it comes to money. I give it to us when it comes to the opportunities, in other words. I'll give it to us when it comes to military might. I'll give that to us without a doubt. Other than that, I can't name one thing that the United States does better than many other countries that are out there. I know countries out there that do family dynamics way better than we do. We are not even known for our family dynamics in the United States. I know countries that have a way lower divorce rate than we have. And they go through the same ups and downs that we do. I know countries with better food, better water. There are other countries with better medical. There are other countries that are not as big or as powerful, but they have better education. There are countries that are not as powerful as we are, but their crime rate is far lower than ours. There are countries out there that have higher taxes, but they get a bang for the buck for their taxes. You can pay higher taxes in Germany, Sweden, Switzerland, Austria, Norway, but brother, bang for your buck that you get for paying higher taxes in these countries. You can't beat it. We pay high taxes in the United States, and we do not get a bang for our buck as Americans. So, like I said, military and money, I'm like grandma, I can give them too. We don't rank top as far as freedom. Women equality, as far as treating women and in job market and opportunities, we don't even rank in the top 25, top 30s in the world for women equality, for female equality. Do you know that? You would think that from all the ingenuity that we see with women in America throughout the last 50 years, you would think that Americans will rank a lot higher when it comes to equality and ingenuity and opportunities for women. We don't. We don't even rank in the top 50 countries. That's crazy. That's crazy. That is crazy. That there are countries out there that are not as large, that are not as developed, but treat women with more equality and opportunity than we do. So like I said, outside of money and military, now don't get me wrong. I'm not saying our country itself, the landscape is not one of the most beautiful countries in the world. I'll give America that too. I would rank America easily one of the most beautiful countries in the world because our landscape is so diverse. So our weather and our landscape, bruh, if you do anything, man, literally travel America, go to Wyoming, go to the Grand Canyon, go to Oregon and see the giant redwood trees. Go to California, go to Los Angeles, bruh. If you have never been to Los Angeles, I'm telling you, it is not. Go to the Bay Area, go to San Francisco. California is its own state. I mean, its own country. Same thing with Texas. These places are their own everything, man. It's almost like you walked into a Twilight Zone episode because they're so different from the Midwest. Come on down to Florida. Come on down, live that salt life. You know, we call it salt life in Florida. Live that salt life for a minute. And you realize, like, goodness gracious, I ain't going back to that snow. You know, check out New York and Philly and New Jersey. Check out, the concrete jungles. And the business mindset and the ingenuity and the creativity it takes. America is a beautiful, beautiful country. I think we kind of take our country for granted. We really do, as far as the beauty in the landscape. We got natural wonders. We got some of the most beautiful rivers and we got wonderful, beautiful waterfalls. All the things that people think about in South America, we got that in America too. But the only part about America in general is so expensive. Is it worth the bang for its buck? It's so problematic for Black people. Is it worth me staying in America, making $1 million, and I could still be pulled over by a police officer who's racist, and I could still be beat to death as an athlete that's famous on television? I could be an actor, and I could be a famous this or a businessman in the United States, but just because I'm Black, they will lock me up. They will make an example of me. And then I go to Colombia, and I ain't never been stopped and bothered, except to donate for wheelchairs. I've been stopped 2 times in this country. And both times the police officers were letting me know that they were doing a fundraiser for wheelchairs. Actually 3 times. I got 1 ticket, but they were giving everybody a ticket on that street, right? But that's the one time I got a ticket just for turning down a wrong street, and it was not a wrong street, and they just had police lined up, and they were like, if you got a nice vehicle, they were just pulling you to the side. But all the raggedy cars, they were just letting ride by, right? But other than that, and I never felt one bit of racism. I didn't feel one bit of well, your Spanish is not good enough, so we're gonna make this ticket. I never felt any of that. I felt more uncomfortable as a Black person traveling across the United States in a vehicle than I have ever felt traveling across Colombia in a vehicle. That I can give you. T-Mac says this. T-Mac says, here I feel zero stress about approach. That's another thing. You did not lie. You did not lie on that one, T-Mac. He said, in Colombia, you don't feel the same hostility from police that you feel in the U.S. The police here are approachable. That is so true. That is true compared to the United States. Shout out to Jehovah in the building. Salute to you, kind sir. He said, doesn't matter where you live, these problems exist. That's not true. Far from the truth. I am less stressed out as a Black person outside of America than I am in America. Ask the brothers that moved to DR. Not one brother has said, I am more stressed being a Black person in DR than I am in the United States. Ask the brothers ask O'Shea Duke Jackson when he moved to Poland and got his MD. Because a lot of guys keep forgetting. You guys keep forgetting that O'Shea Duke Jackson is actually a medical doctor. We keep forgetting that he's an MD, not a PhD, or actual MD. He went to Poland for that. In that one episode, when he was doing the Black Manosphere, and it was him, Angry Man, and Obsidian. Shout out to these gentlemen. Now, one episode when I was watching them in 2016, 15, 18, not one episode had O'Shea ever done saying that the racism in Poland was equivalent to the racism that he was dealing with when he was growing up in California. I'd have heard one of you Navy, you a military man. When you got to Germany, I have not heard one of y'all say the racism that you dealt with when you was deployed in Germany was equivalent to the racism that you felt when you were back home in Chicago, or back home in Detroit, or back home in Kansas, or back home in Utah. I haven't heard none of you dudes ever say, and I mean this, I'm not stretching it. I have not heard one of you dudes say, man, when I was deployed in Germany, bruh, they were so racist, man. I thought they were going to lynch me. I thought I was going to come up missing. They were giving me tickets for no reason. They were telling me I would have to go into this restaurant through the back door. I haven't heard any of those stories in masses. Now, you'll find bits and pieces of racism here and there, but on the scale of the United States, don't ever think that it's equivalent. It does. The problems that you deal with in the States does not exist in other countries, especially for us, those of us that are coming from America. No, I'm not going to let us sit up here and sell that product. I've been to too many countries. I've talked to too many men that live in too many countries, that currently live in too many countries. I've talked to women that live in other countries. And we all have an agreement on one thing. The racism in the United States is far more demonstrative than the racism that we've dealt with in other countries. I'll even put it like this. Let's even put it like this. The racism that we see Blacks in other countries when we get there don't compete with the racism in the United States. How many of y'all have seen a Brazilian swinging from a tree in Brazil? I'm waiting. How many of y'all have seen a Colombian drugged down the street by a pickup truck? Afro-Colombian. I'm waiting. Now, when it comes to taking land from people and things like that, and the wars that goes on in the jungles and things like that, that's one thing. You know, the kidnapping of kids to make them military, that's one thing. I'll give them that, right? In South America. But I'm gonna tell you something. If y'all think that even the racism that we still deal with today in 2026 is not worse than what Brazilians or Dominicans or Haitians. Dominicans are always showcasing their form of racism towards Haitians. It ain't even close to how white people do us and other cultures do us in the United States. Don't y'all ever think, and I mean this, don't y'all ever think that what you are experiencing in the United States is equivalent to what you're going to experience in Brazil, in Europe, in Asia. You're not. That hell that we are living in the United States when it comes to racial disparity, when it comes to still lynching, when it's still inequality of incarceration. Other countries, they ain't even got that much of an incarceration rate. Okay, here in Colombia, I have looked at plenty of Colombian videos of incarceration, of the prison system. You know who I rarely see? And T-Mac, and Will, tell me if I'm wrong. Jay Clyde, if you're here. I mean, and Jay Fleming, tell me I'm wrong. When you watch these news headlines about incarceration or somebody just went to jail, or you watch a video of prisons in Colombia, is it a bunch of brothers that be in prisons, Afro-Colombians in prisons? Or do it be the white Colombian, the Metistas that be in prisons in Colombia? Now, Colombia got 13% black, like we got 13% black in the United States. If Colombia want to do it like that, they could lock up, a huge amount of black people too, just like the United States, right? But you don't see that, do you? You don't see that. All these, thank you. Mostly the white Colombians are in the prisons. But you go back to the United States, it's black and brown. We're the majority in the prisons. I'm telling y'all, whatever y'all think of other countries, get that out your mind, because the plantation owners in the United States planted that idea in your mind that everybody, racism is equal, and no matter where you go, it's going to be like that. No, bruh. As long as you stay in the States, it's going to be like that. It is uncalled for in 2026 that there are young men and young women that are being lynched in 2026. And there's been many of us who have been out here almost 25 years. I've been out here for almost 10 years. You got all you ex-military guys, and all the countries y'all going to, y'all ain't heard not one brother or sister in public on a regular basis being lynched or police brutality in these other countries. Now, is there a form of systematic racism in these other countries? Yes. Because you do go to the mall and you don't see as many black people that are part of the sales team in the malls. So there is systematic racism. Yes, I give you that. But the brutality and the injustice that we go through, the George Floyd's and the Trayvon Martin experiences, no, you ain't gonna see no Trayvon Martin experience in South America. Ain't nobody Trayvon Martin in Peru. There is no George Floyd experience in Venezuela. You ain't gonna see that. You ain't gonna see that in Europe. You do not have nobody hanging from a rope in Ecuador. But you dang sure gonna see that in the Midwest, in the South, today in the United States. Absolutely correct, Will. Absolutely correct. Andrew says this. He said most of the old cartel leaders, Colombians, hate looked mestizos. Absolutely correct. He said I could be wrong. Yeah, that's it. In their prisons is mainly the white Colombians. A few black dudes in there, but with a country of 13% black, like we got 13% black, you would think it would be more black people locked up, right? No. He said, I felt no racism in my travels with the Air Force overseas. None. Absolutely correct. Shout out to you, Frank. Absolutely correct. And that's why I don't take for granted you military guys, because you have more experience with countries than us guys who are traveling over the last 10, 20 years. And so I kind of gleam off of what you guys have experienced. He said, yeah, that's another reason. That's true, brother. That's true. Let's go back to the video. I'll bring that beat back a little bit.
And today, that authority has never just meant being paused or delayed. It's always carried lethal force and used without accountability. Policing in the U.S. grew out of systems built to control black movement. And the same logic shows up today in the violence we're seeing on the streets right now. The black community has lived with this truth for generations, where a demand for your papers can quickly become a demand for your physical submission. So when people say this moment feels unprecedented, what they're really feeling is exposure. Systems that have always been there are now visible to people who didn't have to see them before. For Black Americans, this moment has never been theoretical. When your movement can be questioned at any given time, you learn to move carefully. It influences where you feel safe traveling, where you choose to locate, and how you teach your children to move through public spaces and what tone of voice lowers their risk when dealing with law enforcement. Our freedom has always been something that has to be managed and sometimes negotiated in real time. The need to be prepared, have proof, and to anticipate being challenged has been woven into our everyday decision-making since the beginning of time. Understanding that history changes how the present looks. What feels shocking to some people feels familiar to others. And the sudden awareness that your life or your freedom could be taken in the blink of an eye is just old ground that new people are being forced to stand on. The real question isn't what documents you should carry. The deeper question is why movement has ever required proof in the first place, and why that requirement has never applied equally.
Black History Month isn't over yet, and neither is this conversation. In the next part of this series, I'll be talking about what happens when the state controls your ability to travel by taking your passport. Make sure you're following along so you don't miss it. And if you want to follow my work beyond this series, you can also find me on Substack.
What they also did was they wrote
where she gets started, and this sister gives a lot of great information. Once again, I'm laying a foundation for travel in the United States compared to travel outside the United States. So we're just talking about the United States for now. My brother First Class says this. He says, been multiple lynchings this year in the U.S. In the U.S., he said, I'm treated like a black man. Outside the U.S., I'm treated like an American. It's not the same. You're absolutely, that's a great point. That is an excellent point. I kid you not. Can I be honest? Many of us didn't even know what it felt like to be an American. I didn't know what it felt. I knew what it felt to be a black man. I'm gonna get up in the morning, go to work, go home type of black man. I never thought about my Americanness. Let's be for real. 4th of July, yeah. If you were in the military, yeah, I could see you guys. But the average black dude, man, we ain't thinking about our American side. We thinking about our black side, because that's what's reminded us. Our music talks about our blackness. Our television shows, our movies, and other media platforms. Other races reminds us that we're black. We remind ourselves are black. Our women do not love us only as men. They love us because we are black men. Y'all see that? I was raised that a black woman would love me, not because of my manhood, my character, my accomplishments, none of that. The first thing that my black mother and sisters were showing me that I will find love from women, not because of my manhood, not because of my Americanness. I was able to get women in the States first because I was black. Because I was black. So I was always reminded for 50 years. Think about it. For 50 years, I was reminded of my blackness all day, every day. Nobody reminded me of my Americanness. Even when we celebrate Juneteenth, we don't think about our Americanness. We think about the last moments of those slaves being freed. 4th of July, we're thinking more like the barbecue and college football taking place and having fun with the family, playing some spades or some other card games or some dominoes. We really aren't thinking about our Americanness as black people. When we travel across the country, we're not thinking about as I'm an American traveling from Texas to California. We're not thinking like that. I know I didn't. Like I said, you military brothers and ladies did, but not us regular, everyday mere mortals. No. And then I got a passport. And all of a sudden, from out of nowhere, I was treated like an American. To this day, nobody talks about my blackness. They know I'm black. They know I'm from the black community. But even in you could put me in an area surrounded by Afro-Colombians. They all know that's an American. He ain't one of us. That's an American. They don't say that's a black American. They say that's an American. When we're in Europe, they looked at me not as a black man. They look, that's American. When we go to Mexico, I'm an American. When we were in DR, American. Cuba, American. My blackness was obvious. The skin complexion was obvious. Nobody had to talk about it. The fact that I was American gave me different treatment. Not my blackness, my Americanness. That's why when it comes to Afro-Colombians in Colombia, I'm treated better. They're black, I'm black. What's the difference? My Americanness makes me different. When in DR, I see how Dominicans treat Haitians. I'm just as black as the Haitians. So why do I get treated different? The Americanness of my blackness. And so now I'm celebrating and spending years enjoying something that was never presented to me. I'm an American. I am an American. I get the chance to enjoy my American side and not only my black side. It's the craziest thing. The craziest thing. That's a good point, First Class. Kang says this. Shout out to Kang being in the building. Kang says, he said, this is probably one of your top 20 live streams for this year. He said all of the information and perspectives on traveling, not just internationally, but from state to states by plane has been reconsidered now. Absolutely correct, man. I kid you not. And salute to you, Kang, for being here, brother. Salute to you for being here. Andrew says, funny that you mentioned the Afro-Colombians in Cali. He said, I tried the same thing around them. He said they knew I was American without absolutely correct. Our facial features, so much about us is so different from our energy, our essence is completely different. You could sit there quiet as a church mouse around black people in Colombia or in Brazil, and they know you American. You ain't from here. Your structure is not your height, your size. You ain't from here. You are not from here. Shout out to 313 in the building, the 313 boys.
You better back the fuck up out my face, goddammit. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Don't play with me.
Detroit boys. He said, wow. He said, that's just hit home. Here in America, he said, here in American, he said, I do feel like an American until they need my labor of defense. He said, leave my labor to defend this country. Yeah, not now you're an American. He said, yeah, doing this is true, T-Mac. Only when the Olympics, he said, only when I felt like an American is during the Olympics. That's a good point. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. During the Olympics. That's a real good point. Franklin says this. He said, in fact, in Germany, the white boys were asking me to hook them up with the girls I was meeting. Facts. I can agree with that. I've been hearing stories like that for the longest, that German women love men of color. I've been hearing that forever. Absolutely correct. So I can definitely concur that. Let's hear what this sister has to say.
In their constitution that no man could be a slave on this land. And so a lot of times when we think of the Underground Railroad, we think of the road only going north, but there's actually an Underground Railroad south, and Mexico is a part of the Underground Railroad. And Mexico has been a major supporter of Black liberation ever since for hundreds of years. Okay. And so for those who took the Underground Railroad south, crossed the Rio Grande, for most of the time it would be enslaved people from Texas and Louisiana, because logistically it would make more sense to go south as opposed to risking it all.
They kind of get all the way to
north,
Canada,
right?
Someone left a comment on my Paris video, and I can't stop thinking about it. They said, and I quote, "We need a green book for international travel." Man, they're right. Because I've been racially profiled at 5-star hotels in Paris, at airports in Athens by airport staff, at a restaurant in Miami where the manager told me and my family to go eat fried chicken, even though there were a plethora of restaurants around. And I've just been holding these stories for years. I've been racially profiled as a father, as a husband, as a pilot, as a scholar, as a speaker, and I'm just not internalizing these stories anymore. I'm not staying silent anymore because somebody who looks like you is going through what you're going through at a hotel, at an airport, at a restaurant, and they need to know how to respond with grace, with strength, with their dignity intact. And so I'm building my own green book of sorts, not a pamphlet, but a series. Real stories, real responses. Starting this week, I'm sharing what happened to me in Athens by airport staff. Man, it shook me. I almost went to jail. I almost got put off of a flight. Almost ruined our family vacation. And so subscribe. This series is coming. I'm your friend, Dr. Manny Scott, and I'll check in with you later.
You are African. They still pull me out. My kids, I'm fighting today that my kids are not pulled out on random research. I have done so many random research, I can't count anymore. I sit on business class. They check my ticket. The plane is about to take off. They come back. Can I see your ticket again? Before I used to show them. Now I tell them, until you've seen every white person's ticket on this business class, you are not seeing mine. And I say it loud. I say it loud. You cannot be picking on me all the time.
Rating countries I've traveled to on how Black friendly they are. I'm always asked this question every.
Now I put those videos in there to lay a foundation on the international side. I did not want to give the misconception that the racial dynamics are so horrible in the States, and then when you leave, everything is Shangri-La, that everything is perfect. So I wanted you guys to see that there is still some racial biasness and disparities that you'll deal with when you go to other countries sometimes. Here's the kicker. Neither one of these men talked about being lynched. Neither one of these men are talking about being illegally thrown in jail, or anybody that they know were illegally thrown in jail. Oh, excuse me. Now back in the States, we could talk about racial injustice through the judicial system all the live long day. So, okay, let's put it like this. If I had a choice to deal with every time you turn around, I got a cop with an attitude tailing my vehicle, and we've all been there for the most part. Or I got an airline stewardess that's going through a racial moment. I'm gonna tell you something. Give me that airline stewardess for $500, Alex. I will take that racist airline stewardess that's saying something slick like, let me see your ticket again. I will take that compared to some ignorant police officer pulling me and my family over again for no reason. We've been driving for 10 hours. We've drove through 3 states so far. We drove through 7 states so far. We got 3 more states to go. And I know I'm going to be pulled over again once we're driving through Alabama from Florida on our way to Texas. I'm going to tell you something now. Give me the airline stewardesses that's talking crazy. Give me that person that says you should go here and buy some chicken. That's the worst you got? No noose? I don't have to deal with a job situation. Is that the, listen, sometimes you got to be ready to pick your poison. Sometimes you just got to be ready to pick your poison. He said, Dre, I experienced the same thing. He said, it tripped me out. Yeah, I feel the same. I feel the same way. I'm not naive enough to think that once I leave the United States, the world is just rainbows and roses. I know that there's biasness and prejudiceness and racism globally. But when it compares to the States, I ain't gonna lie to you, bruh. The only country I know where I really need a green book is the United States. Now, y'all can come up with your own international green book, black people. I'm not saying don't do it. But what I'm saying is, I ain't experienced this world traveling to the point I got to deal with a green. I got to have somebody create a green book. I ain't seen that yet. He said, that's wild. They gave him some chicken. I understand. I would have stood up and walked right on out. He said Georgia became a buffer state to prevent black people from escaping the South. Wow, I did not know that. Vincent Giraldo, hope I said it, Giraldo, refused to return escaped black people who came to Mexico. And he said, we don't have slaves in Mexico. And I can understand that. King says this. He said, I'm glad that some of the stories of those who did and do share their stories when some of these things do happen abroad. Correct. Because it's still my point. I want to hit home about move in silence. Absolutely correct. And then the last one I'm going to look at right now is T-Mac says this. He say, Black Indians, freedmen in India and Indian tribes fought in the Maroon Seminole War. You know, I was thinking about why you put the Seminole. I was thinking about Seminole, Florida, which is right in Clearwater. Clearwater. Okay, if you're from Tampa, you know what I'm talking about. But there's a Seminole area. Seminole Wars until they relocated on the Trail of Tears. Sad moment in time to Oklahoma Territory. To the Oklahoma Territory. Let's continue on with the video. We don't have much more to go.
Time I visit a new country, so I guess it's time to do these ratings.
Okay. Now I tell them, until you've seen every white person's ticket on this business class, you are not seeing mine. And I say it loud. I say it loud. You cannot be picking on me all the time.
Rating countries I've traveled to on how black friendly they are. I'm always asked this question every time I visit a new country, so I guess it's time to do these ratings. Starting off strong with Thailand, 10 over 10.
I did not know that, T-Mac. I did not know that.
I've been here 3 times and I've loved it every single time. I've never had any racist encounters or attitudes. The locals are always extremely friendly and always helpful to me. France, 6 over 10. So I have a love-hate relationship with France. I do not like Paris at all. I've had racist experiences there and it's always just rubs me the wrong way. I like Nice and Provence. Didn't have any issues there. Same as Bordeaux. Next is Italy, which is a 7 over 10. Now I've seen a lot of negative experiences black travelers have had in Italy and I sympathize with them. I didn't really like Milan. I felt the men were very handsy and in restaurants they barely spoke to me, even when I would directly be speaking to them. In other towns like Positano, Capri, Venice, I had a much better experience than I did in Milan. Next is Georgia, which I've given 9 over 10. I loved Georgia. The only negative experience I had was at the airport, which I swear happened because we were black. It did almost put a damper on my mood, but once I got into the country, I really had the best time. People were so friendly and nice and helpful and warm and just really the best. Next is Poland, which I give a 9 over 10. I had an amazing time in Poland. The people were quite friendly and also nice. Didn't have any racist encounters and neither was I treated weird at any point. There was only one incident which threw me off with a bartender, but it wasn't overtly racist, but quite subtle. If you enjoyed this and would like me to review more countries, do let me know in the comments.
Countries where I thought I would experience racism, but in fact they were lovely to me and I can't wait to go back. Disclaimer, I'm not saying these countries aren't racist. I'm saying that I personally did not experience racism in those countries. Number 1, Croatia. The people there are good vibes. They are so friendly, so willing to help, and just always down for a good time. Number 2, Italy, specifically Sicily. I held back on visiting Italy for a long time because I've heard some crazy stories. But Sicily is perfect because it's very multicultural. I blended right in, no racism. Number 3, Albania. Lovely, lovely people, and they're very funny as well. And I saw a lot of Albanian men with black girls. Number 4, Singapore. To be honest, I don't know why I thought I'd experience racism there. No one batted an eyelid at me. I think I stared at people more than they stared at me. Number 5, Slovenia. Was very pleasantly surprised with this one. People in the street just say hello and keep walking. Again, please don't flood my comments with, oh no, this country is so racist. I'm saying me didn't experience racism. If you experienced it, I'm very sorry.
Mexico. You're a black person living in the USA. I think you're asking the wrong questions. Don't let the US propaganda get to you. We don't have sundown towns in Mexico. We don't have politicians constantly.
Ooh, that's bars right there. He said, we do not have sundown towns in Mexico. I forgot to even mention that. Let's be real. As much as we try to shun and avoid racist moments in other countries, I don't think they got sundown towns in Brazil. They do not have a sundown town in Thailand. No sundown towns that I know of in Germany. In Paris, no sundown towns. Ecuador, Peru, no sundown towns. The United States, in 2026, you still have sundown towns. Can you imagine in 2026, you still have sundown towns? And y'all want to say racism is the same everywhere? Okay. Okay. What sundown town is in Mexico? In a sort, don't go to certain. I mean, that's just everybody. Certain areas that if you ain't from there, it doesn't matter what color you are, you ain't got no business being there. That's a given. If you're a white dude and you go into cartel areas, your whiteness ain't gonna save you. If you go into pueblos that are cartel areas, same thing being black. So I feel you on that one. But yeah, United States, sundown towns. He ain't lying.
Trying to gerrymander and redistribute district lines to diminish your vote. Mexico doesn't have Confederate statues in front of government buildings. Our second president ever was a black man. When did the US get their first black president? None of your neighbors in Mexico will ever call the police on you because you look suspicious. No police officer is ever going to pull you over here in Mexico because you match the description. Despite being a U.S. citizen in the U.S., they will always treat you as a second-class citizen. I know that the USA has done you guys dirty for most of its history, but not every country is as messed up as the USA, guys.
That is an excellent point. That is an excellent point. And that's what the foundation I'm trying to lay tonight for us. Just because America did us dirty, not every country is trying to do us as dirty. Yeah, a snide remark here, a slick snicker there, a little form of making you upset here. But compared to employment biasness, homeowner biasness, like he said, the sundown towns, like he just mentioned, you ain't got to worry about being pulled over in Mexico because you fit the description. If you fit that description in Mexico, you fit it. I even go even further. If I had the choice of being pulled over by American police officers at night because I fit the description, compared to being pulled over at night in DR or Cuba or Colombia, because that police officer was trying to hustle me for 50,000 pesos, which is like $17, $12. Give me the police officer that's trying to hustle me for $12 compared to the police officer back home that's trying to get me locked up for a crime I didn't commit. So when y'all sit back and y'all talk about with the police over there, they always want to shake you down. Dude, what, 100,000 pesos? That's like $30, $27. You telling me that all I gotta do is get this police officer $27, boom, he out of my face, he ain't bothering me no more. Compared to police officers in the United States, they gonna pull you over at night, ask you to pop your trunk at night, call for backup at night, send for the dogs at night, and you might not make it home that night. Yeah, let me go ahead and be in this other country, pay this $27 and go about my business. If I had a choice, I kid you not, if I had a choice between a corrupt cop that just wanted a few dollars and a corrupt cop that wanted me to get locked up, man, give me a country with a corrupt cop that just want a couple dollars. My brother Kang said this. He said, I would say Peru more better. He said, I think that I'd rather not be pulled over by any law enforcement of the world, period. Absolutely correct. He said, but I hear you, Dre. He said, I must be scary, but he said, but that paper going to be in his hand. Absolutely correct. I'm gonna go ahead and tear him off. Go ahead. There you go. Thank you, officer. That's it. I'm not about to sit up here and trip. I am not about to sit up here and trip on this officer, man. Not like the United States. I look like the assailant. What does the assailant look like? And they never know. What's the assailant's name? And they never know. What was the assailant wearing? And they never know. Man, no. Y'all can have that in the United States. I ain't gonna lie to you. AM said, he said, well, damn. He said, all that for one person pulled over the United States. Facts, man. Facts. T-Max said, I ain't a big fan of Mexico. He said, they have a huge issue with colorism. This is true. And a lot of countries do. He said, I saw it firsthand because my first wife was Mexican. He said, and I would make frequent trips to visit her family. It's different from the US. I agree with that. Colorism in its format is different, but it does exist in a major way in many of these countries. Shout out to Cool T. What's up, my brother? Hope you're doing great. Let's go back to the video.
Worst thing that can happen to you here in Mexico is you get a stomach ache because you had a great night with great food. But anyways, instead of asking, is Mexico safe to visit? Take a look around you. But anyways, what do I know? Let me know what you guys think.
Why do black Americans keep asking me if it's safe to visit Mexico? You're a black person living in the USA. I think you're asking the wrong questions. Don't let the US propaganda get to you.
We don't have sundown towns in Mexico. We don't have politicians constantly trying to gerrymander and redistribute
racism is all abroad. It's anywhere. You aren't going to escape it as a black person. Now, you are going to run into being treated maybe the first time as an American, and you're going to be like, that's different. What do you do with privilege that you inherently have, but never even got the opportunity to use it? Not like an opportunity, like it's good to use all your privileges. That's not saying that. I'm just saying you have never been given the American privilege that you have, because in America you don't have it. So even though that you feel like you don't make a lot of money, you make maybe a lot of money in another country. You are able to afford things that you weren't able to afford, a lifestyle that you weren't able to afford. But are you going to act like the people that you despise when you're giving said privilege? Are you going to go and flaunt your money and flaunt your wealth?
It's a serious question, and I do understand where this comes from, especially with a lot of people never having been out of the United States. It's a general question that a lot of people tend to have, so I'm going to answer it right now. So when you ask, do they accept me here? It really depends on who you ask. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of different Spanish people or native people in Spain and Barcelona who would prefer tourists and people from other countries not come here. And I feel like that's the same everywhere. If you go to the United States, there are Americans who do not like immigrants. There are people who do not want anybody outside the United States in their country, in their state, whatever it may be. There are people in certain states in the United States that don't like each other, and they're from there. Like, I'm from Texas. There are people from Texas who don't like people from California, who don't like people from New York, and don't even like people from other parts of Texas, and they're all in the same fucking state. So it really doesn't matter. So when you ask, do they accept me here? I would say for the most part, yes. Most people are super friendly. Most people have no problem with tourists. Most people don't have a problem with people of color for the most part. But you will come across certain instances where you might get a few stares, or you might get a few looks, or, you know, if I'm walking alone or something like that, I can kind of tell that people look at me a certain way as if I don't belong here. And it's just something you get used to. And for me, like I said, being from Texas, being from the United States, and being an African American, and it's something that I have dealt with all my life. So I really don't notice it that much for the most part. Like, I'm having a good time, and it's not as blatant as it is in the United States in most cases. Now, sometimes I have heard stories of people getting turned down at restaurants, getting racially profiled, different things like that. I have yet to experience it. I've only been here a month, so I can't say for sure if it'll happen or if it won't happen, but I can say the time that I've been here, it's been pleasant. The people have been pleasant for the most part, and I really haven't had much of an issue. Now, I will point out one fucking thing that will drastically change on how your travel experience is, and that's how you actually integrate yourself into the culture. I'm not one of those fucking Americans that's gonna walk around saying, oh, America's the best place fucking ever, and pretty much trying to bring my American ideas and my American, traditions over here. I'm in Spain. I'm gonna do stuff how they do it in Spain. When they close for 3-4 hours in the middle of the fucking day, I'm not gonna sit here and question it. I'm just gonna say, okay, that's part of the culture here. I have to get used to it. And I feel like a lot of people don't do that. And that can, make it a little bit hard for kind of get comfortable or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I really haven't had much of an issue.
Let's talk about this travel ban bullshit. Is y'all seeing this? Trump just signed off on a travel ban that's basically a red carpet for xenophobia. 12 countries banned, most of them African, Middle Eastern, or Caribbean. 7 more hit with restrictions. Afghanistan, Haiti, Iran, Somalia, Yemen, the whole damn diaspora got hit with the do not enter sign. And let's not act like this is about national security, because if it was, countries with actual records of state-sponsored terror or hacking might have made the list. But no, it's always the black and brown ones. This ain't policy.
It's a pattern. The same pattern that shows up in redlining, border walls, and now flight bans. And don't hit me with the, he's just protecting the country. Protecting it from what? Diversity? Culture? Melanin? This is another reminder that election ain't just about taxes and gas prices. They shape who gets to even walk through the damn door. Drop an airplane emoji if you think this ban is bogus as hell. Comment your country below if your people just got targeted. Follow your boy Crypto Black, man. See you next time.
So I'm looking to take a trip. I'm talking to my friends. They're like, where are you going to go? And I list off some places. I'm like, maybe Malaysia, maybe Thailand again, maybe Japan, maybe Costa Rica, maybe Brazil, maybe Belize, maybe Colombia, maybe any of those places, right? And then I remembered, you want to know my process with how I make a choice of where I'm going to travel? As a black person, I have to remember, what type of food do I want with my racism? Because there's going to be racism everywhere I go.
Okay, here we go. I want y'all to be honest. Put a 1 in the comment if racism is considered in the top 3 reasons when you're traveling to a particular country. Put a 1 in the comment if that. Me, it's not. When we're going to another country, I am not thinking about how they're gonna care about me as being black or not. I know that when I go to a country, that 1 or 2 people is not the representation of a whole country. If me and Andre get into a taxi and that taxi driver is racist, but we just got back from 3 days of being into some wonderful hotels and traveling that country and eating in wonderful restaurants, and everybody treated us good. And then there's one racist taxi. I am not about to do a video, taxi driver. I am not about to do a video talking about they're racist in this country when I know that we just had 3 wonderful days of eating and enjoying ourselves and meeting new people in that country. Yeah, mine is 0-2. Mine is 0-2. I just was wondering, man, because the way that these guys are selling it, they're selling it as if you have to make sure you take your blackness in consideration. You see, going back to how we think in the program on the plantation, that plantation program programs you to think about your blackness all the time. So when it's time to travel, you're thinking about your blackness all the time. I'm here to tell you, there are those, as you're looking in the comment section of us, that race is like number 7, if you want to consider it. But I am not going to Italy. Let's put it like this. I am not going to Italy because y'all had a racial experience. But yet, I am not going to Italy and be looking like, okay, where's the racism coming from? Is that a racist? Is that a racist? See, y'all will have a person racially paranoid. If I follow I mean this. If I follow the advice in the videos of too many, not all, not even most, but too many black people on social media when it comes to travel, I would be racially paranoid. The women, the way that they talk, don't go to Italy, don't go to France, man, when we went to France, we had a wonderful time. Don't go to UK. We went to UK. You know who was staring at us the most in UK? Black people. Black people saw this Latina and they were like, we ain't got too many Latinas in UK. So they're seeing a Colombian, Andrea, and then they seeing a brother, he ain't from here. We can see his energy, he ain't from here. We got stared at more by black people than we got stared at by white people. And we had a great time. Don't get me wrong, in the UK. We had a great time. But at the end of the day, I didn't sit around saying, I'm going to go to UK and they so racist. And they said, man, we went to the regular areas. We went to the most expensive areas. And we had a wonderful, wonderful time. I'm not despairing the racial dynamics of what a day-to-day brother and sister might go through in the UK. I'm just saying, as a traveler, I do not put race as high as these people do that we're watching. I'm sorry. I am not going to not go to Greece because your black tail said that you had a bad time in Greece. Because this one person out of all of Greece said something slick to you. I am not going to go to Costa Rica because you had a video saying that 2 Costa Ricans out of all the millions of Costa Ricans said something slick to you. Did they hit you? No. Did they hang you? No. Did they try to lynch you or nothing like that? No. Did they try to drag you behind a truck? No. Did they try to take any of your family members? No. Well, that ain't racism. Because American racism, your kids gonna come up missing, your wife gonna come up missing, you gonna end up lynched. They can drag you behind a truck. Your son could go hanging out with all white boys and never make it back home. That's American racism. American racism is you ain't. If y'all, I'm gonna say this. As an American, if y'all are sensitive enough to be hurt by little snide remarks, don't travel. Because the hell that we have been through for 400 years, if the worst that an Italian can do is a snide remark, man, please, I'll be yawning by the time he get done with his little racist statement. If the worst that I got to deal with is an airline stewardess talking reckless, that's the worst I got to deal with compared to what our people has dealt with for 400 years. Man, I wish I would call that racism. I wish I would say that an Italian who said something slick to me was racism compared to what we have gone through to this day as a people of color, black and brown, in the United States. United States is real, physical, violent racism. It's true, systematic, holding you back, redlining, taking your job resume because your name is Keith or Tyrone and throwing it in the trash, racism. Driving while black, racism. Profiled, racism. Putting drugs in your community, racism. Somebody saying something slick in a taxi, that shit ain't no racism. I ain't gonna lie to you. You ain't about to ruin my day because you done said something slick as a taxi driver. We done been through too much, man. There's no way in the world I'm gonna sit up there and have somebody. I even put it this way: if somebody even in Europe called me the N-word, man, I would keep walking. That's the best you got? You know how many brothers and sisters are in prison right now? Illegally? With no justice? And the worst that you can do is call me the N-word? Man, please. I'd be like, man, if you don't bring my food to me, bring my food. Real racism in the United States. And I'm not victim, I'm not one of those people that do the victim Olympics, like our racism is worse than somebody else's racism. I'm just saying America's version of racism is like America literally puts a carrot in the face of black people that they know that they will never let black people eat. That's America. A carrot in your face, but they know as a mass, most people will never get to that carrot. And you think I'm worried about some dude in Colombia that pulls me over as a police officer and tries to shake me down for 50,000 pesos? $13? Man, please, that ain't no racism. He said, Andre, on American racism is racism with all the sides and trimmings and the gravy. Absolutely correct. He said, world racism is light work, But he said, I wouldn't want the world to pick up the tips from America. He said, no. He said, I travel too much for that. Absolutely correct. And Franklin said, no. He said, I don't think about that. I don't sit back and think about it like, man, I ain't going to that country. I heard, nah, man, I'm going. I'm going. I heard all type of stuff about Spain. I ain't experienced none of that. I heard all type of stuff about France. I ain't experienced none of that. None of it. The most I got stared at is, I know, right? Right, salary. The most that I've gotten in other countries was kind of some countries I got stared at because they could tell I was American compared to the Africans that were coming into that country. Other than that, no. He said, that reminds me. He said, I got family in the UK I haven't seen in years, Dre. Thanks. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's go back to the video.
I'm not going to stop traveling. Maybe any of those places, right? And then I remembered, you want to know my process with how I make a choice of where I'm going to travel? As a black person, I have to remember, what type of food do I want with my racism? Because there's going to be racism everywhere I go. And I'm not going to stop traveling because what the fuck? I deserve to travel. I deserve to see the world. And I'm blessed and fortunate to. So yeah, I'm going to go there. I just need to keep in mind, I remember, what type of racism do I want with my food?
I'm going to say this before I let him continue on. I'm going to shut up real quick. The Bible says, as a man thinketh, so it is. As a woman thinketh, so it is. If you think that you're going to have some racism with your meal, the Bible says you're right. If you think that you're not going to have any racism with your meal, the Bible says that you're right. A lot of times we pre-game ourselves before we even got on a plane to expect somebody to do some racial stuff because we expected it in our own country. Don't do that, gentlemen. Don't pre-game your racism. Let's check out the video because that's what this guy is doing.
So the next time you see somebody black traveling, you're like, oh, how did you decide on where you wanted to go? People suggest Italy and Greece and all types of other amazing countries, but I don't love their food enough to be dealing with their racism. You know what I mean? And I've been to Italy. Been to Greece too.
He said, and I quote, "We do not allow your kind here."
I am learning so much from this discussion. I know in theory that American blacks get treated abroad better than blacks from other countries around the world. So while I've been blessed to not have personally experienced any like overt racism while traveling internationally, I totally know that it is the privilege of the fact that I have a blue passport. So my question is, my Caribbean, my African, really my black brothers and sisters across the world, where are y'all treated well? Because I know that as Americans, we have a step up. We have additional privilege with that blue passport. Where are y'all going where you're not experiencing racism? Because that's where I want to give my dollars. I don't want to be going somewhere that's treating my brothers and sisters bad, even if they aren't doing it to me.
If you're black and you grew up in the U.S., you need to travel. And so if you look at history, you look at Miles Davis, you look at Jimi Hendrix, you look at Malcolm X, you look at what happens when black people leave. We start to realize that the world is different. The one we grew up in, it's
if I ever see any of y'all at the Black Manosphere Conclave with 2 eyebrows pierced, do not walk up on me. If we are at the Black Manosphere Conclave and I see a grown man with 2 eyebrows pierced, don't walk up on me talking about some love crossing borders. Just keep walking past me like you ain't never seen me before. No, I'm not shaking your hand. No, ain't gonna be no photo shoot. No, we're not gonna do lunch. Don't ask me about no cigars. Don't ask me about no brandy, no whiskey, no scotch. No. No, 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 no. A grown adult man looked like he in his 30s with 2 eyebrow piercings and wondering why he might not be getting quality. See, this is the type of dudes that women be complaining about, not us guys. dudes that look like this. I can't hear a word he says. A word he says because I'm looking at his eyebrow. Theo says, he said, eyebrow piercings are not allowed at the conclave. Chewbacca does not approve. Absolutely correct, brother. I'm just saying, Will. Dude, no, I'm serious. That's the craziest thing, man. Like Nubian says this. He said, whenever I'm outside North America, people have always been welcoming, to the point that I think that they are up to no good because they are so nice. Yeah, I never have any issues, man. I mean, I know people that do, but I'm not about to sit up here and claim their issues. Shout out to Aiken in the building. Yeah, man. Don't walk up to me with them piercings.
Painted. Like when I left, I got to feel what it was like to be human. Just human. Not a reminder of my skin color. I mean, people, it was like the first time I received some love. And that's why I said, man, go out and get you some love. And not a resort. Don't go to a resort. Don't go to some place where, you know, it's like, oh, people, like, go somewhere you haven't heard of. Go somewhere like, I don't know, Vietnam, Thailand, Mexico, China. I mean, anywhere. Just go and see how it is interacting with people.
Black Americans who travel overseas, this message is specifically to you. You all need to stop tolerating racist behavior and disrespect when you travel overseas. I have seen one too many videos from Black travelers who have been overseas, and they have tolerated strangers walking up to them, touching them, and putting their hands in their hair. And they blow it off saying, oh, well, you know, they've never.
How is it that us bald brothers are sitting up here fussing and cussing about what somebody else allows with their hair when we as bald brothers don't have any hair? Why did I post this video? I post this video to showcase that there are some of us out there in the travel space that are looking for a racist moment. We are preparing ourselves. Stop pre-gaming your racism. I mean it, guys. Stop whatever your cousin experienced when they was in France by that one person who wouldn't step out of the way. Remember we did that video a couple of months ago. This one young lady that said she was in Italy, the black girl. She said, I'm in Italy and I cannot believe that I had to walk off the edge of the curve and they wouldn't move for me. This is racism. And in the same video clip, when the sister got done talking, I purposely did this. I put the white girl, same age. White girl says, I noticed that in Italy, it's a tradition that nobody makes room for anybody. She said, these guys were standing there just right on, taking up the whole street. She said, and I had to step off the curve and walk around. Same story. White girl tells it, she sees tradition. Black girl tells it, she sees racism. Stop pre-gaming your racism, guys. This dude who is bald, how can a bald dude watch a bunch of videos and get upset at black people for allowing them to put stuff in your hair, touching your hair? Bruh, you and I ain't even got no hair to touch. Now, if you go to the Philippines and they smack you on the back of your neck, okay, now we got a reason to talk. Somebody pop you on the back of your head while you in Singapore. Okay, we can talk. But you are bald, man. You just upset and mad just to be upset and mad. Guys, do not pre-game your racism before you go to other countries because of what you experienced back home. Before we went to DR, I knew how Dominicans treated Haitians. That doesn't mean that's how they were treating me and Andrea. Before we knew that Cuba had racism and had classism. Really, they didn't treat us like that. We had a great time in Cuba. It's the craziest thing, man. Sometimes we just be looking for a reason that before we get on the plane to be ready to have our race card to pull out of our pocket, bam, and slam it on the table. In Italy, this is racist. Just drop it on the table in Portugal, bam, this is racist. And let's say that one or two people were racist. Let's say that they really were. Blatant, wasn't hidden. That does not mean all of Portugal is racist, just like it does not mean if you have a racist experience in the United States that the whole country of the United States is racist. The whole country of the United States is not racist. Bigoted, we have our little biasness. We prejudge things. Yes, we're prejudiced, but most Americans are not waiting. We ain't got enough time and ain't got enough money to be waiting around for that magic moment where we could be racist. Most white women are not Karens. And most white men are not the female version of Karen, the Chads, the Todds. So yeah, don't pre-grade. Yeah, don't put. Yeah, Leo says this. Leo says those demons know what it takes to get you to jump out of your skin. Certain black folks fall for it. And that's a good point. Certain people know the trigger words to get black people to fall for it. And they think if they use the trigger word on trigger words on every black people, all of us are going to respond the same way. And that's not necessarily true. Zeta says this. Shout out to Zeta in the building. He said, well, Dre, he said, that's the program of majority of Americans. It was ingrained in us living in the U.S. And I agree with that. Same thing with me. It took me years of traveling to different countries and being out of the United States to realize that every single person, I gotta brace myself when I go to a country. No, I'm not about to sit up here and brace myself. You got a bald dude with no hair trying to talk about people with hair. Zeta says this also. Shout out to Zeta with the $2 love. He said, Dre, my guy, hola. He said, salute to you and in the chat. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody either. Okay, we got everybody. Let's go back to the video with the bald brother. With the bald brother. Two bald brothers.
China, I mean, anywhere. Just go and see how it is interacting with people.
Black Americans who travel overseas, this message is specifically to you. You all need to stop tolerating racist behavior and disrespect when you travel overseas. I have seen one too many videos from Black travelers who have been overseas, and they have tolerated strangers walking up to them, touching them, and putting their hands in their hair. And they blow it off saying, oh, well, they've never seen a Black person before, and they're just curious. We live in the 21st century. People from all races and ethnicities have been traveling all over for generations now. And now we have the internet. That is not an excuse, and you all need to stop tolerating that kind of disrespect. And the reason that people all over feel that they can do that to we Black Americans is because of all of the anti-Blackness that this country has exported all over the world, to the point where we have been so dehumanized that people think that we are not deserving of the same respect and human dignity that everyone else is deserving of.
I have never felt anything that he's talking about. I do not know what this crazy dude talking about. I posted him on purpose to let you guys know there's some crazy brothers and sisters out there. Dr. Umar ain't the only crazy one. I'm gonna tell you that now. They have put out their anti-blackness around the world, so when you go to other countries, the other parts of the world, their curiosity is actually anti-blackness to you. That's why they touch you, because they have been programmed by America to treat you like a thing. Bruh, what? You know how we say sometimes when women act like this, we know the truth. They just need some dick. This brother right here needs some pussy. This brother right here is one of the brothers, you can just tell from the energy. He just need a female to ride the shit out of his dick. He need to bust and cry at the same time. He need his toes curled and quiver. Some dudes just, it ain't got nothing to do with no racism. It ain't got nothing to do with the economy. It ain't got nothing to do. So come on, let's be real. Some dudes give off their energy like, I bet you wouldn't be talking like that if you had some good pussy. I bet you wouldn't be talking like that if that same Asian chick that you talking about be touching people's head. I bet you if she gave you some head, you would not care how many heads that she put her fingers in, how many braids that she touched. Some of y'all need to go to these countries. Instead of criticizing them women for touching the sister's head, go and let that woman fuck. Go and let them Asian girls put that thing on you, bro. God, I bet you wouldn't be talking like that if one of them Asian girls put that thingy thing on you. You wouldn't give a dang about what them Asian girls do when it comes to touching them sisters' hair. You'll be pointing it out. Hey, there go a sister. You better go touch her hair. You be pointing their asses out. Some of y'all just, I'm serious, man. Some dudes need to just bust a good nut, just a good nut, just a good one, just tear just come to, you know when you bust a good one and your eyes start watering, and if you blink, that tear gonna roll down because she just doing what she doing best. That's what that brother need. This ain't got nothing to do with no damn hair, touching no hair, and traveling while black and all that. No. This dude need a woman in his life. A good old-fashioned Asian woman with blonde hair. He need a blonde Asian. He wouldn't be talking like this at all. Seriously. Goodness gracious. Oh, yeah, he do, man. I'm for real with it, for real. I mean, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm picking up on that type of energy, like, y'all letting them touch y'all hair. Man, what do you care? You ain't even got no hair. Shout out to DJ. He said Asian chick's gonna turn seriously. And all this little measly conversation would have never been had if he let an Asian chick put it on him. Slim says this. He said, one thick Cambodian woman, yup. Sexual seduction. Playing in the background. Facts. Facts. He said that brother would faint. Absolutely correct, man. When none of this conversation would happen if he was getting beat down real good by the same Asian chicks that are touching them sisters' hair. Nobody want to be hearing that BS that he talking. IMF is in the building. He said, let's be honest, Dre. He said that dude only wants power bottom T. Hey, IMF. I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. I tried to slide through, try to make it seem like a female. Yeah. Yeah, he looked like he just need to go to one good Diddy party. I ain't gonna lie to you. He comes across like he just missed one Diddy. He's still mad because he missed the last of the last Diddy parties. If he was at that last Diddy party, he would not have said what he was just saying. He's still mad that they locked Diddy up. Hey, IMF, I tried to let it slide. I thought I was the only one that saw it. I was like, well, maybe if I don't say it, and I'll say a female, you know. But he do come across like he was mad because he missed the last. He had tickets, he had plans, he had outfits. He was ready to. He had baby oil in his tuxedo, a white tuxedo. He ready to go into the Diddy party. And Diddy got locked up. He's still mad about that. He's still mad about that. That man still got that baby oil sitting behind him, waiting for Diddy to get out in a couple years. Waiting for Diddy to get out in a couple years. He said some of these dudes never grew up in Texas compared to whatever racism they think they dealt with overseas. Absolutely correct. Ain't compared to living in the South. That is so true, brother. DJ say, turn that man into Richie from Harlem Nights for real. Seriously. He ain't coming home no more. That's serious, man. Okay, I thought it was okay. It wasn't just me, IMF. Okay, you saw it too. Yeah, the bathhouse. He's a bathhouse bandit. He's a bathhouse bandit. He's like, one time I was walking out of a bathhouse and I saw this sister get her hair touched, and life ain't never been the same. He said probably bring his own industrial strength baby oil from the parlor massages. Seriously. He is too serious about it. Like, you're like, man, you're too serious about this, bro, as a bald-headed man. What's going on? Talk to us.
Even if they have never seen a black person, some things are universal. They need to ask your permission before they touch you. And this phenomenon, especially in...
He does not sound like he talking about sisters, hair. He sound like he talking about his childhood. Let's bring that back. This man sound like he talking about his childhood. They shouldn't have permission to touch it. What did your uncle or your school teacher do to you, man? What did your uncle or your school teacher do to you? Now I'm starting to realize this ain't got nothing to do with international. It ain't got nothing to do with no sisters, no racism, no hairstyles. This man is talking about his childhood.
To the point where we have been so dehumanized that people think that we are not deserving of the same respect and human dignity that everyone else is deserving of.
Yeah, he talking about his childhood.
Even if they have never seen a black person, some things are universal. They need to ask your permission before they touch you. And this phenomenon, especially in East Asian cultures, you going about your business and they're taking pictures of you like you're in a zoo and you're one of the specimens.
Yeah, he is definitely talking about his childhood. This ain't got nothing to do with nothing when it comes to travel. This man is talking about them special pictures that his special older friend was taking to him when he was a shorty. This man is having a no means no moment. He is having a no means no, sir.
Absolutely not. Stop tolerating that. And I am so glad that I'm seeing more and more videos of young black travelers who aren't tolerating that kind of disrespect when they go overseas. They are respectful of the cultures that they're visiting, and they expect
I caught that
treatment to be reciprocated. Some things are universal. But this, they're just curious. They've never seen a black person before. Think about this, and this will prove to you that it is anti-blackness that is in operation. How many videos have you seen of white women here in America who travel overseas complaining about the natives running up to them and putting their hands in their hair. Have you ever seen that? I haven't. So why do you think that these same individuals feel it's okay to do that to us? And we allow it. We have been indoctrinated with showing grace in the face of disrespect, and it needs to end.
Racism is everywhere, it's true, but so what? If you wait for the world to be perfect before you travel, you're never going to see anything. You shouldn't let racism stop you from getting your passport because nobody else out here is letting anything stop them from traveling. We can't let fear stop us from seeing this beautiful world.
They love to tell Black women that the world isn't safe for us, that we shouldn't travel outside of our home countries because we're going to face racism everywhere we go. Some of the worst racism I've ever experienced in my entire life has happened in Canada, my own home country, the place I was born and raised. Racism doesn't just magically begin when you step foot out of your country. Anti-Black racism can be just as bad at home as it is abroad. So if you're a Black woman who actually wants to see the world, here's what I want you to know. First, do your research, like a lot of research, before you go anywhere. Research until you get to a point where you at least feel comfortable with the idea of going there. Not
A man supported me and says this. He said, I'm bald too. He said, but women like to ask to touch my bit. Facts. So I guess you're supposed to feel some type of way because the women want to touch your beard. These dudes are funny, man. Shout out to all 65 in the building.
just because TikTok told you to. Because as fun as it is to be spontaneous, it's way better to not go in blind and potentially put yourself in dangerous situations. Second, try to connect with the locals as much as possible. This is where the real magic happens, and this is how you actually experience a place. And even if you don't speak the local language, be open-minded to using a translator. Don't expect people to speak your language, meet them halfway. Some of my best connections have happened through Google Translate. Next, make sure you have the contact information for your country's embassy. For me, that's always knowing where the Canadian embassy is located, just in case. It's better to have it and not need it. But most importantly, always try to have fun. Dance, eat, laugh, explore, take a million pictures, because that's what all of this is all about. The world is ours too, so don't let anyone convince you otherwise. You deserve to see it, experience it, and fall in love with it.
Hi Maya, this is completely valid. Fear of racism and discrimination is actually one of the top 4 reasons why Black Americans don't travel. So I understand it, and trust me, I'm with you. However, from my experience, the most racism I have ever faced has been in this here in the United States. The most I get anywhere else are stares. And of course, I do be looking good, so of course you're gonna stare like the fuck. Most memorably, these stares were from Venice, Italy, but it was mostly European tourists. I'm sick, but I think I said that wrong. Again, it was mostly Europeans. And China. But in China, it was different because they did the same thing to my friend with blonde hair and blue eyes. Everywhere else, you just feel like you're a part of the crowd. Maybe sometimes elevated because of our melanin, period. But all I say to this is experience it for yourself. Again, the worst racism I have faced has been in America. Everything else has been smooth sailing, I'm not gonna lie. Ignore the stares or let them elevate you and have the best time.
I can truthfully say that I've never encountered as much racism anywhere in the world as I have encountered in the United States. Typically, people are really open. If anything, they just, again, they're not familiar with us, and so they may ask questions. They want to take photos. I mean, they're fascinated with the beauty and, nothing like that melanin. But overall, I would say no. Not to sugarcoat things or make it seem like that it does not exist, but never an experience where like, oh, I feel like I'm being watched, or someone's clutching their purse, or anything like that. That typically happens in the States.
What up, fellas? Point guard coming back to you. I've been seeing some disturbing things around how U.S. citizens will be able to move in 2026. I don't want to sound the alarm. I don't want to be crazy or anything or outlandish, but I'm hearing that once the World Cup is over, freedom of movement for American citizens inside the United States and outside the United States will be compromised. To what degree, we don't know. But you will not be able to move around as freely as you do right now. And if you are interested in relocating outside the United States, you may want to get on that sooner rather than later. I know that we always think that we have time, but we don't, guys. We don't always have time to do what we really need to do. Things are shifting rapidly. This is something that you guys probably don't want to deal with around the holiday season, but we're at the end of 2025, preparing for 2026. And if you're not preparing to relocate to the place that you really want to go, be prepared to stay in the United States for a while, because it looks like they're going to really clamp down on international travel and travel within the United States. Okay. Check your own sources, do your own due diligence. I only come to you because I'm concerned for you guys that want this freedom of movement, that want an opportunity to live your next chapter in a desirable location. Go to my bio, get your global scouting report first. It will give you a readiness of your, it will give you a score of your readiness to relocate. Second, go find your country in 72 hours. It will help you flush out all the information, help you stop watching a gazillion YouTube videos, and will get you clear on the country that you belong to. Okay, you guys enjoy your Sunday, enjoy your holiday season, and until next time, holla, yo.
Is there racism in Spain? I get this question a lot from my fellow Black friends, and I'm sure there are plenty of Black people that are wondering whether or not they will experience racism if they come to Spain. Well, I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. The entire world is racist, babe. I have lived and traveled to quite a few countries, and yes, there are places where I feel completely comfortable, and there are places where I have experienced prejudice. But here's the thing. I am so confident in who I am that I know that I can live anywhere and thrive. Not survive, thrive. I know this may sound harsh, but if your fear of experiencing racism is stopping you from traveling somewhere or moving to a new country, just stay home. I see so many TikToks of Black women and Black people in general saying that they always research the countries that they're going to before they go. I never do that. Ever. Because to me, that comes from a place of fear. And don't get me wrong, I've had racist experiences during my travels, and I've also had them in the US, where I'm from. But I guess I've reached a point where that just doesn't faze me anymore. It's not going to ruin my day or stop me from doing what I love, which is traveling. So my biggest piece of advice is to just stop researching if a country is racist or not before visiting, because that just feeds into fear, and you're always going to find something that confirms it. Racism exists everywhere, and that is just the reality. But at the same time, the world is such a beautiful place, and there are so many kind people in this world. So do not let your fear stop you from booking that trip, moving to a new country, or just living your life in general. Because there are too many amazing places out there in the world that are waiting for you to experience them.
One thing I've never understood is people being deterred from visiting a country because someone else has told them they've had a racist experience over there. See me, if there's a country I want to go to, if there's some place I want to see, I will be there no matter what. I feel like people just get swayed too easily nowadays, because why would you cross off a dream destination just because someone else had a bad experience over there? And this isn't me undermining racism. I know how it can affect your trip, going to a place where you're feeling like you're unwanted. If that's the case, you usually need to look around you, because look who just swept up all the local elections anyways. Even me, I experienced racism on my first trip out without family. With me and my boy, we went to Italy for the first time, and an officer stopped and searched us for like 20 minutes. It was very, very clear that this guy was racially profiling us, because when he asked us where we were staying at, pointed to the address that was literally opposite us. The officer then took our key to our Airbnb and unlocked it just to prove that we were saying the truth. 99% sure you're not allowed to do that. But I tell people not to go to Italy just because of that experience. No, I still would recommend it, because it's a very beautiful place and there's so many things to see. At the end of the day, if there's a place you want to go and visit, just go.
I like how he put that. He explained a very racist scenario that happened to him in Italy. Instead of letting that throw his whole trip off and coming back and recommending Italy is so racist, they did, he said, you know, it happened. There was a racial moment in time, but that did not deter me from going to my dream destination, enjoying my trip in Italy. I'm one of those type of people. I am not going to let one monkey stop the show. It's just not going to happen. If I want to go to whatever country that I want to go to, I'm going to go there. And whether the people understand why I'm there or not, that's on them. But I'm like, my man, I am not about to let my whole trip be thrown. And I know people that are like that. All it takes is one thing to throw off their whole day. They would throw away 24 hours. They would throw away 23 hours because of something that happened within 1 hour of their day. I'm not that person. As you guys can see, I am not going to throw away 23 hours because something that happened within 1 hour window of my day. And so he's 1% correct. I know, right? That's me. That's Dre right there. Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces passing, I'm homebound. That's me, man. I'm not gonna let stuff hold me back. Seriously. Shout out to this dude. Let's go back and finish off the last bit of this video. I think he's the last person.
So one of the greatest gifts America will give you is that blue passport, opportunity to travel the world, the freedom to travel the world. My sisters understand the value of that blue passport. Listen, being an American citizen is not for you to travel from America to your home country. Traveling to your home country is not a vacation. It's another job entirely. We are here to view heaven on earth. The prototype of heaven. The heaven you read about is here in Vietnam. This is how heaven looks like. What's going on? Yeah, in Vietnam, baby. Travel. You are not depressed. You are just in the wrong place. Stop stalking, doing 2 jobs, 3 jobs. Problem not they finish. Family problem not they finish. Destroy the camera.
We gotta see the world.
Gotta see the world.
Gotta see the world. You can't stay in a cocoon. Yeah, travel is education. It opens your eyes, opens your experience. You gotta get out there, get perspective, see culture. Yeah, gotta do it. But get out there. Get out there.
Enjoy your life.
Get out there.
Enjoy yourself.
Work hard, play hard.
There's only one life to live.
One life. I love that. Listen, if you die today, if you die today, your next of kin will use your money smoke Igbo. Take care of yourself. We used to have this thing in Nigeria with the cattle ranch. No, it was really good. Obudu cattle ranch. Yeah, Calabar.
That is beautiful. Now, that's the end of the video for tonight. And that is a beautiful vision to end. I like what he said. He said, you're not depressed. You just need to travel. And he's 100% correct about many individuals. It's amazing. And I'm celebrating the fact that more Black people are starting to get their passports, starting to travel, starting to discover other countries before the end of their days. And so should many of us who are watching this live stream. If you have not traveled internationally, take your time, be patient, but definitely put that on your agenda on things to do. Because I'm telling you, just like Malcolm X, just like Miles Davis, just like James Baldwin and all the other, just like Stokely Carmichael, who went back to the islands, just like Frederick Douglass, who ended up moving to Europe. Just like all these Black people realize that there is a life out there waiting for them on the other side. He said, hey, Dre, he said, are we coming back to Patreon? Absolutely correct. Patreon on Mondays and movies on Saturdays. No rush. Maybe after the conclave. You're absolutely correct. I miss our Patreon hours on Mondays. I kid you not. Like today, we were just trying our best to clean up everything that we could. We still got a bunch of cleaning up to do. There's still a bunch of dust and dirt that need to be cleaned up. So we try to clean up as many rooms as we could today. That's one of the reasons why we came back. We missed our home. You know, we really, you don't realize how much you miss your home to where when you're about to lose your home. Now we're on a hunt for a house. And so now we're house hunting for the rest of the year. And we're excited about it. Yes, he's absolutely correct. He said, guys, travel, especially Black men go travel. I kid you not. If more Black men travel, that racial pressure, that pressure of racism, that stress, that premeditated racism, I'm telling you, you'll start telling yourself like, I ain't got to put up with this, or this ain't that serious. Because while you're still in the States, you think every little thing is that serious. But once you leave and go to other countries and experience what other people are experiencing, you start to realize maybe what that officer said, it ain't that serious. I kid you not. You start to realize it's not that serious. Shout out to Big Brother in Life. What's up to you, buddy? We're about to head up out of here. I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow. We're going to talk about the Black Manosphere Conclave tomorrow. And we're going to talk about a topic that T-Mac sent me. So we're going to be talking about that as well. He said, I feel more aligned spiritually. That's a good point. When I'm living and traveling abroad. I do too. Yeah, tomorrow is the Black Manosphere Conclave. We're going to show some of the videos. We're going to talk about the hotel accommodations. We're going to talk about the dates. We're going to talk about some of the speakers. Bruh, I am excited. Vegas. I can get all my Las Vegas Raiders jerseys for football season. But the most exciting part is meeting up with you guys. He said, can we get the belly dancing intro? Well, obviously we can do that. Let's do that one. Absolutely correct. Let's do both of them, actually. Let's do both of the belly dancing tonight.